What is up, the world of the living? My name is Lyarrah and welcome back to Truly Bedrock. Last time we worked on the birch atrocity. I'm sorry, I just realized that I don't have a single window that would be looking that way. Last time we built around the birch atrocity, and behind the scenes, as you can tell, I will and am building up even more about it. Though, honestly, right now, I do not feel like doing that. What I do feel like doing right now is taking another step at Truly Bedrock Herald, the newspaper that I'm running here on the server using custom textures with a resource pack. No, I'm just kidding, those are just maps. Yep, those are just maps, everybody. This is a giant desert that I'm currently terraforming and typing giant letters onto. So let's go there, let's take a quick look, and let's write out another issue, because boy howdy do we have a bunch to report on, friends. But first, I got for you something very special concerning the newspaper. You see how these ones are very similar, but like this one looks tiny bit clearer? And also, you see how like the colors are all faded and for old newspapery? Well, we might have just invented colors, because the new iteration of Truly Bedrock Herald looks like this. Ah, yeah. Let's go take a look at it. Just gonna grab this one also for the comparison. So, why are the ones on the right here so much clearer and so much more contrasty? Well, for one, they're made out of actual concrete. So this is black concrete, obviously, this is brown concrete, and brown concrete is much more pronounced that plank color that the whatchamacallits have on the map. That the planks obviously have on the map. So that's one. And for two, every block placed on top of the sand here will drop shadow, meaning that when you have letters, so you have a lot of rogue pixels, a lot of pixels being like standalone or like next to one another like this. For example, his letter A, you will note that there is gonna be a shadow on this block, on this block, on this block, and on this block, making the paper that tiny bit more less readable. More or less readable. Good job, Loy. You can tell I'm the journalist because I have a way with words, by which I mean I have a way to screw them up. Anyway, point being that behind the scenes I have flattened out the desert we're using to create maps. Just kind of. Originally I didn't want to do this because I wanted the paper of the newspaper to feel wrinkled, to look wrinkled, and to be wrinkled. But then I realized that maybe it's a better idea to just have it flattened and have everything be contrasty. The problem now arises in these shadows, because as you can tell, I wrote the letter A, and on YouTube you can barely freaking read it. Now, for that letter to be most visible, what I need to do is I need to actually dig it out from the sand and place the blocks of the letter into the sand, which will actually hurt a lot, because in the long run, doing that for every single letter and then having to chop all the letters out and fill the sand back in between the issues is way too much work. So for today's issue, we will be still placing the letters on top of the actual newspaper, but we will have some advantage still before the previous newspaper. How so? Well, we will be using more colors for it. For stylistic purposes, I want to use 4 colors instead of 1, or well, 2 of the spruce planks. We will be using mild brown, hard brown, gray, and black. And honestly, I experimented and I tried. Gray looks so much nicer than black, somehow. The black is almost too contrasty for this old-timey newspaper look that I'm trying to pull off. So I'm very hesitant, but I still might go crazy and just swap all the black letters for gray ones, simply to achieve that look, because it's just much nicer, it's much nicer to read. The problem, of course, is that to achieve all of this, we will have to go out of our way and make a lot of concrete of these varieties. Meaning that we need cocoa beans, we need grey, and we need black. Or, I don't know, we can just buy this stuff by the shulker box from Zap in his wool shop. Let's see. Grey is 1 stack 1 diamond. Brown is 1 stack 1 diamond. Other grey is also 1 stack 1 diamond. And black, yeah. So what I need to do is I need to just basically place an empty shulker box. Do I even have one? Okay, I have 2. Fill them with diamonds. 27 per one. And replace these ones with those ones. And you probably expected me to actually build a wool farm by myself. Yeah, actually, I still need to check how the wool, what the wool looks like on the map, but it's not gonna be a problem, guys. And if it is, there's also a concrete shop on the server. We live in a post-scarcity society. Alright, I gave it a try, and I found out that shulker boxes are grey on the maps. Yep. All of the shulker boxes are grey, just as well as all of the gravity blocks are this puke yellow that we're using for the background. But that's beside the point. What's on point is that I do not see any difference between concrete and non-concrete wool. So we'll be using wool for now, simply because it's non-gravity and because it is super convenient. Because you can make a lot of it if you really try. So eventually we will be definitely setting up our own wool farm, because sheep can be sheared using shears and in the dispenser nowadays. But for now, we're just gonna use the ones that I bought, because once again, you gotta support your local economy, guys. You gotta... Unless I spend a lot of diamonds, the diamond currency is not gonna tank itself. So, I better get on that, you know. Man, it's so dark and monsters are out. If only I could afford a bed. Oh, wait a minute. I can afford all the beds. Okay, materials set and done. Also, by the way, all the beds apparently are red on the map, so that's an interesting discovery. Utterly useless one, but, you know, interesting. And, yeah. Now I just need to figure out what to write about. And honestly, what not to write about. People, we have a ton of stuff going on right now on the server. Just this week, we added 3 more members to the server, and I've been basically preview to all 3 of them. Yeah, I've been there. I witnessed their first steps. And it was amazing. And yes, I did say 3 new members because there was one more. There was one more. On this channel you saw Jesse B and ECKO Soldier. But I didn't show you one more person joining. That person was Killadrone. And yeah, him joining was kind of the weirdest thing. Which says a lot, considering that the other 2 joined by always being on the server and being just captured by villagers as far as I can understand. And crashing into my house on a meteor. Killadrone, how do I put it? Let's just say Silent and I might be parents now. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna show you the clip.
Hi. Was this you?
Yes.
Okay. How and why? Why are there puffer fish?
Because they dance.
Anyway, so I brought you over to try and help me create some life. I don't know if you've seen this, but I have made a little bit of a lavatory underneath the village here, and you just kind of go down the wells. Very convenient.
Oh.
Anyway, so creating life, of course, is a very difficult task, and I figured since you're all forms of dark magic and evil and crazy, you might be able to help me build something, or get something done.
Ooh, fancy. I did a seance of necromancy one day. I think I can manage maybe putting some, I don't know, effort into creating something similar to like an alive being.
Okay,
Tell
cool.
me what.
I like this.
Armor stands are redstoneable, right? I got those guys to dance.
Yeah.
And golems are a thing, so maybe we can maybe try some of that for the purposes of it. And we'll need a processing unit.
This already looks too advanced. It has a brain. I guess it's technically already alive. Like, we just want it to actually
it does have a health bar.
us.
All we need to do is bring some consciousness into that dead pufferfish. Follow my logic, if you can, if it's a logic. When you die with a Totem of Undying, you become alive, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we'll just and then kill it with lightning?
I mean, I guess that works. So what have you set up here?
Basically, just all the necessities. It got the Totem of Undying, the main processing unit, and it has some redstone sticking out of its butt.
It's got a little butt antenna. Okay, cool. I like it. Why not?
Yep.
Shock this stuff like this. There we go.
Yeah!
It's alive! Or is it?
Hello.
Hi.
It's alive!
It is alive.
Our
Nice.
beautiful son! And then Silent made him chop down the wood, and then he disowned him. Yeah. You might want to check out the full story on Kilodron's own channel. I'll try to remember to put an iCard into the upper right corner. So that's a new one. I'm standing right now on a straight line without any, without any space in between the blocks. And the map first interprets it as a dot line and then fills the space between the dots. I do not understand how that works, and I'm not gonna argue with the map, honestly. As long as eventually it will figure out that this is indeed a vertical line, I will be fine. Now, why have I surrounded the main printing area of the newspaper in dots or lines or whatever is a whole other question. And the answer is obviously because we have today 3 new members to talk about. 3 new people to talk about, and we need to introduce them into the fray with the newspaper. So what I decided to do is I decided to divide the vertical space of the newspaper into 3 segments, and I'm going to do that mathematically. You see, the little stripes over here mark every 5 blocks. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go around. Not only have I already went around being like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But also right now I'm about to go around here, counting these little stripes, and then the amount of these little stripes is gonna be divided by 3, and that will be the amount of stripes I will need to count out to kind of separate the newspaper into the 3 sides. There isn't any particular reason as to why I decided to go with 5s. That's not a perfect number of blocks, mind you, being like an indivisible number and all that. But you know what? I will figure it out, and it's just a more convenient way of counting, even though there is actually a very convenient way of counting already built into the game. You just grab a stack of blocks and you place it, and you subtract the remaining amount of blocks after you're done placing them from a full stack, so 64, and you get the number of blocks you have went. You can probably tell I've done this type of garbage a lot. Yeah, I am easily persuaded by dull and boring tasks, which I guess is why I enjoy this game so much. Alright, math with Zloy, everybody. I counted, and there's 20 of them. So 20 divided by 3 equals basically 6 and then some. We're talking really like wonky math here. But more importantly, 20 divided by 6 equals 18 plus 2, because 6 by 3 is 18. So we got 2 blocks to kind of, well, not 2 blocks, but 2 segments of 5. So 10 blocks to go around. Why is that important, I hear you ask? Well, because the articles themselves will also need spaces between them. So the dividing lines, the horizontal ones, will not be the only ones. Right? We will need some space between 2 articles, so between 2 dividing lines. Or even the dividing lines themselves and the letters. So for example, the letter, this letter here, and this letter here will need to be a certain distance away from one another. And honestly, having 2 spaces of 5 left over is basically perfect, because a space of 5 is 1, 2, divider 1, 2. So, yeah, it's gonna be actually basically perfect for what we're trying to do. The other problem I can see is we might still want to implement portraits of the new members, or at the very least like illustrations as to how they came about. So, I don't know about that. I don't know how to do that. But point in case, we need to count out 6 of these little spaces. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's where we will have our articles separated. Yeah, sounds like a plan. Let's see if that works out. Okay, does this look like equal parts of thirds to you? Actually, let me go height and height hood. There we go. Does this look like equal measurements of 3 to you? I mean, to me it does, and I really like it. So I guess we're done here. I can probably remove the measurement line from the side as to, you know, kind of clean it up and to make it invisible. Though honestly, I might still need it. And actually need it very, very much. So what I think I should do is I should basically do this here. I know it's gonna be a tiny bit tedious for me, but what do you care? It's gonna be off camera entirely. But this is a line just outside the bounding box of the map. So this is the line that no one will ever see, but that will be so super convenient for me, seeing how this is not my last time using this exact area to create this exact newspaper. So, yeah. I'm surprised I didn't come up with this sooner. I really should have established some sort of measurement tape around the area before even starting construction over here. Well, utilizing all of the stuff that we talked about in today's video, I have created basically 1/3 or even maybe like basically half of the newspaper by this point. So let's check it out and let's witness my first mildly less successful pixel art for today. But actually I can, yes, video, hide hood, there we go. How about now? Look at it. Look at this stupid robot, it's so delightful. Science triumphs, local redstoner has created life. Meh, says life. The word life was not impressed, is just did not fit into the screen. So this is the pixel art of the robot that we're talking about. And you will notice that on the actual map, the shading on the background is basically in checkerboards, whereas in reality it's just stripes. Now, why is that, I hear you ask? Well, friends, I have no idea. For whatever reason, when you draw a line, like a long straight line, every other block will appear shaded. And taking advantage of that, I managed to create this backdrop with just stripes. And it is looking really nice. It actually goes really well with it being a robot in the foreground, because it like creates this idea of a matrix or whatever. So I love it. I really love it. And the pixel art made based on Killer Drone's skin, in my opinion, is also really well. Anyway, second article for today will be "We Are Not Alone." Lady we found in the forest claims that she's the original player of this realm. And that is of course about Jessie B, who, by the way, for the record, looks like this. So we will be making a little pixel art of her pointing either at the moon. So I want a pixel art of her face over here. I want a pixel art of her body for a comedic effect, slightly dislocated from her face. And I want a pixel art of her arm pointing somewhere diagonally to the whatchamacallit. Let's see, it's yeah, it's her right. To her right, pointing either at the moon or at a pixel art of a pillager, because She tells the story of how she was kidnapped by pillagers. Whether or not we can trust that story is obviously up to interpretation at this point. I honestly think that we should, at this point, kind of gather a little bit of a communion and just see what everybody thinks about these new people joining. Because we haven't done that yet, and we have this cool meeting built, like the meeting town hall, built by FoxyNoTails, and we're not using it. And this is a reason enough for me, like, in my personal opinion, to go ahead and to utilize that stupid meeting room. Kind of give it a reason to exist, after all. Give Foxy a reason to have spent all of that time building it. So, let's see. Does the pixel art of her arm look army? Yeah, it's just now rendering in. Man, it's not perfect. I'm not gonna lie, it's not perfect. It's a good arm pixel art, but it's like not in perspective. I might want to maybe bend her body a tiny bit and add a little bit of a 3D effect like I did on the Killer Drone pixel art. I mean, after all, it would be really mean to give one of the new members a really cool and really like quality pixel art, and the others just something flat and boring. That would be unimpressive. I really think that they wouldn't appreciate it. And check this out. We're not alone. Lady found in the forest claims that she's the original player of this realm, and then there's a picture of Jessie doing the jazz hands. She's supposed to be doing that panic thing where she was like, oh my god, people, the moon is falling, everybody panic, and I attempted to kind of picture that, but then I didn't know what to do with the background, so I kind of attempted to make a facsimile of the roofed forest, which is what these like blotches of lighter brown are supposed to be. And honestly, I feel this looks really nice. I sent the screenshot of this to Silent, and Silent was like, yeah, this looks really nice, and I was like, yeah, thank you. So yeah, at least Silent is impressed, and I don't know, I don't see you impressing any Silent, so shush. Now we just gotta add ECKO Soldier at the very bottom and fill in that stupid rectangle in the upper right with maybe another jelly strip if I can come up with it. I want a one-frame jelly strip, like just jelly sitting and then some text on top of her. But I haven't had any ideas, so do let me know in the comments actually. Any ideas for jelly strips? Okay, so remember that bit about like how I don't want anyone's pixel art, anyone's picture to be worse than the other ones? I think I have broken that promise. Look at it! Look at it! So I was basically thinking, okay, that's a lie. No thought was implemented in the production of this image. But I was thinking, how do I combine the idea of a meteor falling onto my house and the idea of it being ECKO Soldier inside? And then I realized that ECKO Soldier is a dinosaur. And it's super ironic that the thing that brought a dinosaur onto Truly Bedrock is a meteorite, because, you know, in real life, meteorites kinda killed the dinosaurs. So I decided to combine them, you know, in an artistic interpretation of exactly what happened. And it resulted in this chunky T-Rex being created. Look at it. Look at its stupid little arms. It's amazing. Yeah, I promise the tagline is gonna be something like, I don't know, maybe like a meteorite strikes my base, business as usual, because really for us it is business as usual at this point, for something to fall on somebody's roof and nobody being impressed. But still though, I need to finish the pixel art, and like, you can actually see that I started doing some interesting coloring here by filling in the checkerboard pattern, which by the way negates the tendency of the map to create artificial shadow effects, meaning that the checkerboards will actually look exactly like checkerboards. But then I'm using it I'm filling the spots in to gradually create a gradient. And I'm not sure if that's gonna work. Because, I don't know, it worked for like makers of the original newspapers. And for the entire genre of manga. Basically for any black and white, like straight up black and white, not grayscale print. This technique would actually work. But I'm pretty sure it involved like much more of industry secrets to make it actually believable and make it actually look like a gradient. Now that I think about early adventure games and early like pictures for DOS would also implement that technique called dotting, where you would create a gradient by like just spreading dots around. But sadly, does not quite look the way I want it. I don't know, maybe it's just way too systematic because it's like specifically checkerboards. I don't know. We'll see. At the very least, it does create an effect of the dinosaur having a little bit of a scale to him. As in scales, you know, the skin of the dinosaur, of snake-like. Anyway, I better finish this up and write the actual tagline, because right now this is kind of way too silly look. And sadly I ended up just putting invest in Pebble in there. It's rare that you have to advertise a currency, and it's rare for me to actually not have any funnies to bring you, but oh well, maybe next time we'll get a jelly comic. It's gonna be like an annual issue or something like that. Though really, Jelly deserves her own giant newspaper. Anyway, this is Truly Bedrock Herald, episode 3, and oh boy, does it look ambitious compared to the other two. Allow me to zoom in, just so you can check it out in all of its glory. Look at it! Look at how beautiful my son is. Now to actually sell it. Now to actually go into the community district, into the shopping district, into the shopping area, and drop off their other 15 pieces of it. Though before doing that, I might want to do something in particular that I have sworn to do after well, working on the newspaper and talking to Silent for like a little bit, because he unraveled. He revealed to me, mind you, that there is something very interesting that I can do to make my life easier in regard to this entire, you know, using wool for letters, and that is of course enchant freaking shears with mending and efficiency. And on the way there, I should probably grab an Unbreaking Free book, because I remember I do have an Unbreaking Free book, and that villager is yeah, just okay. Just with you guys, do you good job. And we naturally sold out of all the books. Yeah, I'm gonna need a mental note to restock that. That is very important, because we need to keep providing people with mending books so they don't need diamonds, so they keep spending diamonds, right? Alright. Where's the nearest anvil? There's the nearest anvil. I keep using the freaking fence, not fence post, but like lamp posts in the community district as an anvil to enchant stuff with. So here we go, mending wanna, efficiency 5-0, and I will need Unbreaking Free, but I'll put it on eventually. Congratulations, we made Omega shears, the Omegaest of the shears. Now let's see how many. just 9 of them left. Wow, that means that basically out of the, I don't remember, 18 or 15, basically a lot of them were sold, and that's so good. That's so precious. Man, guys, a little trade secret. Listening to people read out loud my silly articles in everybody else's videos, for me has been a guilty pleasure for a while now. I almost cried when I listened to Daphne read it out for some reason, and then I caught Foxy actually buying pebbles. Pebble money just to read my stupid newspaper, and it's so nice. It's so nice of them. I love it. I love it. So yeah, the newspaper Best thing ever. I'm so glad that we continued. If you are on Truly Bedrock, go buy your. And that's gonna be it for today's episode, everybody. I'm gonna go grab a bunch of books. I'm gonna go put them into the Enchantorium. And I'm gonna see you next time. So, do subscribe if you aren't subscribed yet. Do leave a like if you haven't. And this has been SlackLizard. This has been Truly Bedrock. Oh, Herald. To be continued. Have a good one. Bye bye.